Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. So I wanted to run over some of the most difficult parts, I guess, of the most popular mods that I see anyway, that people are applying to the new Toyota Tacoma. Things are a bit different with this truck. We're going to start off in the front. One of the probably most done or most popular mods is to change out the grill insert, right? Used to be you'd just take a few screws off and pull the thing out, you know, the front grill part. It was like this section here, right? Or something like that, or actually right there is one, right? Not anymore. Now you have to remove the whole front end of the truck to be able to get to it. And behind it, of course, are a set of louvers. You've got to pull that off, all kinds of little clips and things. Now, it's not difficult to do. You just need to follow instruction, and I do have a video on this, of course, but follow instruction and take your time. Never start this mod when you've only got an hour or two to do it. You're going to need more. Next up, over here on the side are fang lights, and it doesn't really matter what style you choose to go with, right? I decided to go with pods in mine so I could put pod lights in. There are those that, of course, have lights that light up and change colors and all kinds of different things, right? A lot of people say that you can just pull the blank off from the outside by reaching down in here somewhere and trying to disengage the clips that are on the back. And I believe there are 5 of them. Now, the problem isn't really the size of your hand or your arm, although that can certainly get you scratched up if you have bigger hands or bigger arms. The problem is disengaging the tabs that are behind. They are in there, particularly the ones across the top and across the bottom side. They're very difficult to get off, and I've seen people try to do it, and I tried myself, by going underneath. I tried to use a screwdriver because I just couldn't push on them hard enough without it destroying my fingers, and I still couldn't get them off. I also have seen people take a hole saw and drill a hole through the middle of them and then try to reach up and pry off those little tabs even from the front. Still very difficult to get off. And I know there's a guy that says that it can be done. There's a video where he shows him doing this, right, with his hands. But if you look real close at that, at the blanks that he pulled off, he did break off 1 or 2 of the tabs to get it out. So that wasn't even successful. Be wary of what you see on the web, right? The best way to do it is, again, like with the grill, to go ahead and pull the front end off, and then you have full access to everything that you need to take off. And the benefit also in doing that is you can also route the wires wherever you want them to go, right? You notice I've put mine here, I've zip tied them in, I even drilled holes through areas that don't matter to put zip ties in, just to keep it neat and accessible, I guess, for me. I power everything through an aux beam switch. Here's the guts of it here, and then there's a breaker here. Everything runs over to the battery, right? It's a one-stop deal. Once you have this installed, everything is connected right underneath in this box. You don't have wires running all over the place, trying to run things inside to your truck. And speaking of the inside, we have the control panel mounted right here, nice and easy and accessible to reach. Very simple to do. It just takes a little bit of time, not difficult. The hardest part of it, to be honest, is where to place the box. A lot of people will place it up on top of the fuse cover, probably on this side, and it would make more sense to do it on this side because everything is right beside the battery, right? But I wanted mine over there to make it easier and have enough, I guess, wire to run into the cab to that switch. I didn't think there'd be enough over here, that's why I put it over there. I have drilled through this before to mount the control panel there on top. I wouldn't do that. In hindsight, I think just using some strong double-sided tape is all you really need. And again, this is probably the best place to put it. Live and learn, I suppose. Next up, let's talk about intakes. Of course, I've got the Banks intake in mine. This is not specific to Banks. It applies to any intake you're going to put in. Removing the stock cowling or bracket that's down here is difficult. It's on there. You really have to pull to get that thing off. That's trivial though. It comes off obviously, and then you slip the new one, whatever you're using on. The rest of it is very simple, very easy to do, and all the other ones pretty simple as well. This one, good quality part, not difficult at all. Let's talk about boost tubes. We've also got a set of these, cold side and hot side. I will say the one on this side is easier to get to simply because with the intake out it's more accessible. On this side you're kind of fishing through and under some hoses and things, and when you put this cowling piece on the front it is a pretty tight fit, and I would recommend slipping that on from the bottom. It's suggested, and I did this in the instructions, to use a lubricant or fluid of some sort to be able to slide that cowling a little bit easier on the pipe so that once you do get it mounted you can slip it on. It's much easier to do underneath, and you can reach up without removing any of the inner fender or anything else. You can see some floor if you look real close down there. So just a little tip for you. If you're doing boost tubes, again, these are banks, depends on what, it doesn't matter what you get, I should say. Very easy to do once you have proper access. Now, the next thing I want to mention are the side steps over here. These are heavy. They're not side steps, they're rock rails, I suppose, but they're real rock rails. They weigh about 50 to 75 pounds a piece. Get yourself a bucket, just a 5-gallon bucket like this. Set one end up on it and then lift the other end up while you're putting it on. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to do. And even the Predator side steps that are stock, I guess, or any of the other ones out there that are a lot lighter than this, still helps because it's awkward to kind of set one end up and then go ahead and put the other end on. The last thing that I'm going to mention are the well, two more things, I guess. The covers for the mirrors, if you decide to do something else or maybe you break one, always start over here in this corner, kind of pry this up and around and then off. There's going to be a lot of crackling and stuff while you're doing it, but I have never broken one, and I've done this probably 5, 6, 7 times. It just takes a little bit of pressure to get them off, actually a little bit more than a little bit. It will come off, and then just slip them back on the same way with pressure to go ahead and engage them. Lastly is the hood scoop. There has been decent interest about changing the hood scoop out if you happen to have a TRD Sport, which I do. I actually replaced the hood scoop with a black hood scoop because I like the looks of it. It's very simple to do. There are 4 bolts, I guess, you can see underneath here. 1, 2, 3, and then the other's right behind the windshield fluid line. The worst part about doing this, honestly, is dropping the damn nuts down somewhere in the engine, which I did. And that's why you see a silver one. You see a silver nut over there on this side as opposed to black like the others, because I actually dropped one. It fell down somewhere here, kind of bounced around. It did not end up on the floor. So I'm sure sooner or later I'll find it somewhere, maybe, unless it bounces out on the road. But just be very cautious when you're doing that, if you decide to do that. Otherwise, pulling off that hood scoop is pretty darn easy. Anyway, those are just a few things to look out for, I guess, if you're doing these mods. Some of the things that are a little more difficult or tedious, especially if you're doing it for the first time like me and not aware of them when you get started. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, click that subscribe button if you haven't before, and we'll see you next time on the web. Bye.